excited to see the design.
Yeah,
you ordered so much cool stuff.
I love the black on the red.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Tara, how we looking there? How's it going? Yo, girl. All right. I'm getting this all done. All right. This is looking good. Nice, clean.
Chris, why didn't you clean it again?
Yo, who it is? Who it is?
Oh my God! Hi! How are you?
Oh my God!
Good to see you. How are you?
Fantastic.
How you been? Look at this place.
You guys,
Check it out. Check it
matching
out.
shirts. I love it. I love it.
Right.
Love
It's
it.
coming together. Sarah Larby is my coach, and it was on Zoom, and she instantly understood like where I was going and what I needed to do. She instantly got it, and she was very positive with it. Right? What do you guys think?
I love the
my
yellow
gosh,
and the
it's gorgeous.
gray.
Yeah,
This is
great accent.
beautiful.
Yeah, so that property was a property that we purchased. We went to buy it, and we started working with joint ventures, and I figured I would let my students have first say at it. And 2 of the students from the class wanted to jump on it, so that's how it all happened.
Congratulations!
Welcome
Good job,
to
good job.
Hamilton's first mobile boutique vet. Check this out.
Amazing.
Yeah, couldn't have done it without you guys.
Can we get a tour?
Yeah, please. So excited.
Absolutely.
Come check out the
Yeah.
Awesome.
What do you think? Check this out.
This is gorgeous. I
Right?
love the
It
high
looks
ceilings
so
too.
well.
Love it.
Yeah, look at all the finishes you guys chose. Really nice.
Right?
I can tell which ones are the wise designs because it's very similar, which is the great part of it, and this is why I think the work got done so quickly as well.
Yes,
This place looks better than my own house.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Like the finishings, like it's just so professionally done. It looks fantastic. And how fast did this happen?
I mean, 3 months, I think it
Yeah.
was. And
3 months.
we've got an amazing unit here, an amazing
Yeah.
one upstairs that's going to go on the midterm market.
Yeah.
But first and foremost, like congratulations, because you guys
you.
took your business
Yes.
and had this
Yeah.
image and this vision
Yeah.
and executed. And you're like, I want to do this with real estate and combine the
Yes.
mobile vet clinic, combine real estate, and here you are. And also, we've got another house that we purchased together, but this is one of many. And so, congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank both of you. This is fantastic.
Let's talk about the business though,
Yeah.
because I think, so we met
Yeah.
3 years ago
Yes.
and we were having a conversation and you told me about this concept of having the mobile vet clinic and I'm like, this is genius. I love to delegate everything I possibly can from cleaning, from cooking to grocery shopping, car detailing. And here is another great option to have vets come to you versus bring your pet come to the vet. So tell us about that concept.
There's communities in Ontario that absolutely need mobile vet care. And we are the people to do it because we have a specific way of working with people, working with pets. It's just awesome. And so because it's mobile, we don't need a traditional clinic. We need property. And the vehicles and everything we do runs out of that property. And so this model completely was hand in glove, perfect fit. And it wasn't until we met you that we didn't understand how these things came together. It was a big mystery. We talked to people, we talked to realtors, talked to this, talked to that, and it wasn't clicking. It wasn't being put together properly. And then when we got together, it was like, oh,
Yes.
that's how.
Huge light bulb moment.
Huge light bulb moment.
Yeah, and I actually remember the very first conversation we had. We were standing outside one of the houses. It was like freezing cold in class.
Yes.
And we started to talk about why you were looking for property and what your goals were. And you were like, well, we have our business and we like to visit clients. And how do we combine our passion for real estate and our passion for our clients and making their lives easier? I mean, you talked about converting garages, maybe renting one out. Like there were a lot of strategies and a lot of scenarios we went over that you thought could make this opportunity successful. And here we are, you have a home, you've been able to build 3 units. So what's your plan with the other 2? We talked about our midterm property rentals. So we're putting that on Airbnb for you. And what's your vision for that? How do you want that to look? Like you're excited about that too, I imagine.
Well, I gotta tell you, if it turns out like this one, then that's the vision. That's the vision. Like just knowing how to put this together and then rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. It's very efficient, it's very desirable, and it works. And that's what we're discovering every single day.
Yeah.
Even the way that this is getting put together, it's just far different from industry standard. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
On a real estate end and on like a vet
Right. And now you can hire somebody as part of their contract and they have a place to rent temporarily while they work for you, or this could be your home base because you guys are located in Ottawa and you're growing. And so this, is like, it could be used for many different things. And then upstairs you'll get the midterm rentals, 30 plus days of cash flow. And it is a way, especially in a market with higher rates, to create something that can still work.
And what did it take? Okay, it took passionate people, knowledge, and then you mentioned wintertime, grit. Okay, the ability to go out there, just feel a little bit
You guys
cold.
came from Ottawa for these classes.
Drive for Ottawa, blizzard.
Going into homes that didn't have any heat, freezing our butts off.
So eating frozen lunch. We ate frozen lunch.
Frozen lunch.
Remember that too.
Grit
Great.
and grabbing it all in, and then realizing that summer comes around, seasons change,
Yes.
and the ability to like plant some seeds during winter, and then look what happens. Look what happens when it gets warm, huh? And it happens right here.
100%, 100%. And so just for the audience at home, so you were
Yeah.
students of mine, you
Yeah.
took a course, and then you
Yeah.
took action on the course, and we actually had a property under contract, which was this one, and I'm like, who wants to come and join venture with us? And you guys were like, right away, like 5 minutes later, we got a message saying, we're in.
Because the moment had clicked. You wrote down everything we needed to hear as like, because we're professionals in a medical field.
Right.
We needed people who really understood our vision, and you totally understood that vision and how to integrate it all together. And that was beautiful. So we instantly knew we were the right people.
Awesome. And just to share numbers, so this place was purchased for $715, about $150K of renos before taxes, and it just got refinanced at $1.1 million. So we'll bring Dalia through shortly to tell us about the financing piece. But that is like unheard of from a lot of lenders, saying how in 3 months did you take something and bring up so much value, but it's all putting the pieces together. And so congratulations, guys. You just made a ton of money.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, congrats, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks very much.
Thank
Awesome.
you. You guys are the best.
So what is probate? Probate is the requirement of different asset holders, whether it be like the bank or investment companies, insurance, etc. When a person dies, the asset holder requires this process to take place, which is called probate, or it's actually now called estate administration. So probate is the old term, but still widely recognized and used. And so probate is a process where a lawyer or the trustee submits an application to the court. The judge and registry office of the municipal court reviews the application for that person to be appointed and known as the proper executor and state trustee. And then they return back a certified copy of the court order confirming that. And so with that probate certificate would allow people to sell an estate property. So unless there is an exception, which the exceptions are kind of few and far between, to sell a property that is owned by an estate or is the estate of, you need a probate certificate. But for further details or to have greater conversation, give us a call. Look us up at carsonlaw.ca.
Chris and Tara are starter investors. They're ambitious and they have clear goals on what they want to achieve, but they're starter investors. So it is important to walk them through a lot of things to make sure they understand the risks, they understand the process, and they've planned things well. So we took a variable rate mortgage initially when you folks purchased this property for a reason, right? Because on a refinance, we now have flexibility because we have the option to go to another lender, we have an option to refinance with the existing lender, you qualify. So that's the beauty of a variable rate. Where if we had taken a fixed rate, it would have locked us in and we would have, had to deal with penalties if we had to go somewhere else. So we have options, is the good news. With a reno strategy to be refinanced, which is called the BRRRR strategy, some of the mistakes I see are investors taking a fixed trade going into the deal because they think they're gonna lock into a lower rate, and then when the refinance time comes, they may not qualify with the existing lender and have to switch to another lender, which will cost them a hefty fee to break a fixed rate mortgage. So do not take a fixed rate mortgage on a BRRRR strategy. Now, Here's what I would suggest on the equity takeout. So your first mortgage was the variable rate, and now we're dealing with a 308 of potential money. So we have two options to take out that money. One option is to leave the existing mortgage in place and to take it out as a line of credit for $308,000, and basically you have $308,000 in your back pocket. It's not costing you anything per month, and only when you start using it, you pay interest on that money. So let's say you have another investment property that you want to buy, only at that point when you use the money, you pay it out. That's one option. The second one is around the equity takeout. So once the project is complete and you need to take out the equity, it doesn't mean that you have to break the first mortgage. Again, if you've done your homework up front and talked to the broker, you should know before you get into the deal what's the refinance gonna look like. And it is important to consider products that will allow you to add a line of credit or allow you to add another mortgage instead of breaking and replacing your first mortgage, because that's gonna cost you money. The other option is if you want to recoup the money you invested in the property, so you're essentially paying yourselves back right away, I would suggest we take it out as a mortgage. Thirdly, doing an as-complete appraisal up front. Some investors talk to the realtor, do their homework around what they think the value is going to be, but I want to make sure I get an appraiser's opinion of what the project is going to be worth once you're done, to reduce your risk of surprises at the time you exit the project. But here's how I suggest we do the deal. So the norm is, let me break the first mortgage, it's on a variable rate, let's go create a bigger mortgage and get a new loan. What I would suggest we do is a little different here. With the bank you're with, they have a product that allows you to keep your first mortgage intact, and for us to go at that $308,000 as another component. So you would have essentially two mortgages every month. The benefit of doing it this way is you're avoiding paying a 3 months interest penalty on your first mortgage. Why pay it, right? There is no reason to pay it, so let's leave it. And then, as of today, the rates have changed on variable rates. So there is prime that has gone up for everybody that is on variable, but there's always a prime minus on a rental property. So when you guys got the first component, you're at prime minus 50, I think, at the time. Now it's at prime. So if we go break that component, you lose that discount for no reason. So what I suggest we do is we keep it and we get this $308,000 set up as a second component at today's rates. And this way you avoid the 3 months interest penalty, you avoid losing the discount, and you're still with the same lender. So that's essentially what we're gonna do here.
What's that called when you do it that way?
It's called, it's a specific product, like with the lender you're with, it's an advanceable mortgage. And what it allows you to do is it's like a puzzle. You plug in pieces into the product. So you can have a mortgage and a line of credit, or you can have two mortgages and a line of credit, or multiple mortgages and multiple line of credit. So all what we're doing is we have that plug and play, and we're just plugging in another mortgage component to it.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Because I think our goal would be to grab the equity to pay the renovation costs, right?
For the next building.
So we've got this one and the next, right? And then that would be the way to do it.
Yes, and another option that you may want to think about is we keep the first mortgage, we create a second mortgage within that product that just pays you what you've invested in the property, and then we set up a line of credit for any money that you are not using right away to have in your back pocket. So you're not paying principal and interest on money sitting in a bank account.
Right. Yeah.
Investors have a journey. Investors who are starting out are new to the market, and typically they don't understand the risk of real estate investing. And then once they've owned a couple of properties, they start to get comfortable with the process, especially if they're sticking with the same strategy. They start to get comfortable. And then once they get really, really comfortable, some of them I find take very high risks that they become sometimes oblivious to. And this is why my philosophy is to educate throughout the journey, regardless of how sophisticated the investor is, to make sure that that risk is managed.
I hope you're enjoying the show. We're going to take a quick break to speak with Dalia Barsoum, who is the founder of Streetwise Mortgages, our financial expert team. Welcome, Dalia.
Thank you, Aisha.
Today, my question is, as an investor, how much private money can I borrow?
The cool thing about private money, Aisha, is that investors can qualify technically for an unlimited amount of money. I want to qualify that, but what I really mean is that they are not going by guidelines that are defined like the bank guidelines, where the banks say, you know what, you've got 5 mortgages with me, I'm done, or your income cannot support X number of dollars, you're done. In private money, it's really at the lender's discretion, their comfort level with a property, their comfort level with how much debt you're carrying, and it's more fluid. So every client situation is different, but what I'm trying to say is that the rules are a lot more lenient.
Great. Thank you so much. Now back to our show.
What we are talking about is there's a couple things that we have to redo in this house, which would bring it up to current fire code.
Okay, well, basically when we start any design process, you know, we do a thorough walkthrough of the building, and we're looking at the existing state of the building. You know, we're looking at existing structural stuff. We're looking at locations of windows and exit doors. We're looking at heights, like basement ceiling height, to see, you know, what we need to do in order to comply with minimum building code requirements for the layout of the units.
I'm going to point out that smoke detector right up there. If you want to get a picture of that, that is what's called a 3-in-1. So that's a smoke strobe / carbon. My electrician used the wrong ones in this house, which we have to get swapped out. So if you want to get a kind of picture of that, those are like even though they're interconnected, that's really just called that's a 1-in-1. It doesn't include the strobe. So we need to have the strobe in there, so they have to get swapped out.
There are minimum code requirements, as you know, such as minimum room sizes and minimum natural lighting requirements. There's minimum ceiling height requirements. And all of this stuff has to be taken into consideration when you're creating a floor plan and a floor layout for a unit.
This was a really simple project because it's no framing, no structural, basically just take it out, put it back exactly the way it was. So you basically got new paint, skim the walls, new kitchens, new bathrooms, new flooring, fresh coat of paint.
Yeah, all new millwork, so all new baseboards, all new casing. We left the ceiling even intact. Reason why we did that, the house wasn't bad enough for us to rip everything out. We didn't want to get building permits, so we didn't need building permits for this one because we didn't do anything structural. The kitchen stayed in its existing location, bathroom existing location. We didn't change any of the plumbing other than the shutoffs, and obviously update the smoke detectors that we just kind of covered. Other than that, everything, this is the house in its original state, just all new finishing.
You know, planning and design on paper can only go so far, right? And it's never 100% on paper. What matters is actually what's happening in the field and what's happening on the construction site.
So this is a second unit.
And every staircase in Hamilton is crooked. Okay, so just to point out what we did here. This was all the old plaster and lath walls. We just kind of strapped it out with, this is called shiplap. Looks really nice, looks really clean, looks really good, modern. People love it, and it's actually easier for us to do versus drywall. Cap the stairs, we'll go up there. Okay, so what we did here was a lot of lipstick. Again, we didn't want to screw around with the ceiling, so we strapped it out with shiplap again. All the ceilings in here. So all the ceilings here were existing, and all we did was we put 1x4 strapping up here, kind of give it that wainscoting paneling look, which I think came out very well. Lou's playing with smoke detectors now.
Smoking carbon. It happens when trades aren't used to dealing with the multifamily stuff. This is a new electrician that we just started using not too long ago, so he's still getting up to speed. But the good thing is that we'll have a chat with him and he'll come in and correct it.
Our trades are good. They work with us. We give them a lot of work. We give them high volume stuff. So You know, it's like Lou said, it's a learning curve. I think this was one of his first ones with us.
First or second?
First bigger projects, we'll call it, right?
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, he probably picked up the cheaper package, right? That's, but he'll come and swap them out. It is what it is. It's not the first time, it won't be the last time.
Other things that are important to consider is plumbing. Where's plumbing going to be routed? You know, where's the plumbing stack? You know, trying to design by putting plumbing on shared walls. So maybe having your bathrooms and kitchens back to back so that your plumbing is in a shared wall. So there's a lot of factors that we're considering when we're doing a layout for a unit, and it's sometimes easier said than done.
Right, so the difference between foreclosure and power of sale is two things. One is the process and the mechanism in which the power of sale or the foreclosure happens, and then the outcome essentially of both is a bit different. So power of sale, that's typically used in Canada most commonly by the banks if you're in default under your mortgage and you're not able to pay. Most banks are not interested in being owners of property. They only merely want to take possession of the property to sell it, to be able to collect their mortgage that's outstanding. So what happens is it is a mortgage process under statute as opposed to foreclosure, which is a court civil procedure. So those are two differences. The power of sale is under the Mortgages Act. It is still an application through the courts to get an order to be appointed mortgagee in possession to sell a property, but that's the other key difference as well. Power of sale, you're only in possession to sell. You don't become the legal owner of the property. And so power of sale allows you to sell. If you sell and have enough money just to pay back the debts that are on title and so forth, with no balance being left for the owner of the property who's in default, then there's nothing that you have to pay to them. However, if there was a shortfall, then potentially if you're in a second or third position, you would be able to receive your full amount of money paid. The foreclosure proceeding is longer because it is through the courts, it is through civil procedure, not through the statute. And the impact and the difference is you become an owner to the property. So you actually gain ownership as opposed to just taking possession to sell. So as you might imagine, foreclosure becomes beneficial if you actually want to be an owner of the property because you don't necessarily want to sell it. Most lenders, institutions want to just sell, get their money back, and away they go. But if you wanted to actually take ownership, foreclosure may be a more appropriate route. The risk with that is once you take ownership, now you assume the property subject to all its debts. So you need to be able to make sure that you understand that now you are acquiring the property maybe with some other debts and mortgages attached to it. So they both have pros and cons and benefits. One is faster and a bit more straightforward because it's just intention to sell and collect funds, which is power of sale. One is a bit longer to do, but has the benefit and the option of not only being able to potentially possess the property to sell it, but you actually are the owner. The only problem is what other skeletons are in the closet that you may now be subject to and liable to be dealing with after the fact.